Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we'll be taking a look at the track Floods by the British rock band Fightstar. This was the fourth single to be released from the band's 2007 album One Day Son, This Will All Be Yours. The band were never really able to hit the mainstream with the rock sound that they did incorporate, and also including elements such as post-hardcore, and the band actually came together when Charlie Simpson, who was a member of Busted, grew displeased with the amount of music or the pop style of Busted and wanted to explore something that his heart was truly in. He would actually go to party, meet some of the other members of the band, which they would then go on to form Fightstar, and he would eventually break off from Busted, and the band would go on to produce 4 albums over their tenure before they would actually kind of break off into different projects, with a couple of members forming the group Gunship, and we'd also see Charlie Simpson return to Busted after a 10-year hiatus from the group. And the band certainly did explore some very interesting ideas and certainly had some strong influences in the music they were producing over the course of the late 2000s. Many of the songs on this album were packed full of meaning and almost had a really interesting styling to them. They were doing something that most other rock bands weren't doing around the time, really making great use of piano, of keyboards, of all these different sounds that they would incorporate into their music that really helped them stand aside. And whilst their songs weren't able to hit the mainstream charts, they certainly did approach the upper echelons of the rock charts. So will this track result in a crashing wave or just a trickling stream? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds. With this opening verse, I do really love the way they make great use of this piano. It's something they did in a lot of their music across the course of this particular album this song was taken from, and pretty much from the title it gives away. This was a song that was very focused on global warming and really just the idea that we need to kind of wake up. We can't all pretend that we don't know. It's almost like we can't put the blinkers on and be blind to global warming. It's something that certainly, as the years have progressed from the release of this track, has become much more prominent. Global warming has become a much more serious case, and this idea of sinking beneath the rapture we've spawned, this idea that we as a global collective have caused this rapture that will one day maybe possibly come. And we've seen that with the rise of things such as tsunamis, earthquakes, really just becoming much more prominent in today's world. So certainly a track that has aged very well because of the nature of what it's trying to explore. One thing I really love that they do in the chorus is Omar really goes to town on the drum kit. It's almost like this crashing wave of sound they bring in throughout the chorus really amplifies the effect. It's not just this typical wave that's coming along, it is a crashing wave. It is almost like a tsunami of sound that just crashes onto the track over the chorus. I also love this sweeping element we've got at the back of the mix as well, really adding a strong just kind of groove to the actual chorus part of the track, really make it sound much more melodic to go alongside these crashing drums that we have got in. And we also have the great lyrics as well that are tied in. We don't have the entire world to make the floods seem still. So this idea that floods will envelop the world, making it really kind of hit hard, this idea of if we don't start looking after the planet, it's not going to look after us, it's going to destroy the human race in the end. And I love that lyric there, on the wrath of this inconvenient truth. There's actually the documentary that inspired this track, An Inconvenient Truth, all revolving around the idea of Al Gore, what he was pushing for in terms of kind of the global situation with global warming, with a lot of ecological ideas as well. So they really drew a lot of inspiration from that and really use that to push this message across that they want to. And so the lyrics, blood will bleed the blind. This idea that, again, putting those blinkers on and eventually we'll be the ones that will bleed because we haven't looked after our planet. We'll be the ones that come out kind of at the bottom. Mother Nature will certainly kind of topple us almost. So a lot being shown through these lyrics, really trying to enforce that idea that we will always come out last no matter what if we're going up against nature. And I really love how they're putting this emphasis on time. We don't have all the time in the world to make the floods seem still. This idea again that if we don't change things soon, then we are going to run out. It's almost like a clock, a global clock that is running out. The seconds are ticking away. So showing that through the chorus when you've really got this high point of emphasis. I certainly love as well that line, just smile like the idiot you are. It's very direct, it's very blunt, as Charlie Simpson really tries to get across this idea that people are just going to smile and pretend like it doesn't actually happen, when it's that idea of you're an idiot for kind of not putting some time and effort into correcting this problem. It kind of aimed more at the idea of governments really just kind of not taking a focus on it, which they didn't do at the end of the 2000s. Certainly now in today's world has become much more of a prominent global issue that is being tackled, but at the time it wasn't seen as quite so serious. So this song certainly tried to push that agenda and did a very good job of doing so. Even so, with the actual visuals that were featured, really showing London being destroyed by these crashing waves, really just to push as much of a message as they could. And musically, I love some of the elements in this, but most notably the drums from Omar, really just showing this crashing sound over the chorus. It really gives the song so much power just from that drum kit alone. I also love the softer piano sections that we do have, really just kind of showing the ebb and flow of this track. Again, almost like these lapping waves, just really tying in a lot of these ideas to do with waves, to do with water, and this idea of kind of this global destruction that could effectively come through. And it certainly was one of the strongest tracks on that particular album. The album as a whole was very well received, as most of Fightstar's work actually was. And if you haven't heard these guys before, check out some of the music that they did over the late 2000s. So that will be everything for today's video, but as always, please feel free to let me know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. If you've never heard it before, definitely worth checking out some more of their material, as I did say before. And if you want to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next audio analysis.